Hello, hello Libra. Welcome to your 2019 overview reading. This will be good for you if you're a sun, moon, or rising Libra. And hello if you are new to my channel. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I want to give a quick disclaimer though that I'm not an astrologer, so that's not what to expect from this reading or this channel. My actual work, I'm an intuitive counselor, and so I am definitely geared towards taking really good care of yourself, healing, mindset, all of that. So I want to be really clear about what it is that I'm doing in this reading. And if you are interested in the 2019 love and romance readings, I know that those have been highly, highly requested, so you are welcome to check those out as well. The description box is where all the links are. And so all of the 2019 love readings are on Patreon, and those are huge readings. Big, big, big. Goes over a lot of content, and it's good for if you're in partnership or looking for partnership. So it applies both ways, no matter if you're single or not. So that is what I have for you today. Let's go ahead and take a deep breath. Pay attention to anything that's coming up for you. And first thing, for today, I honor my feelings. Make sure you're focusing on validating your feelings. That's really what honoring means, is that I like to think about this in terms of if you're honoring your feelings and you're sticking to your truth and you know that what you feel is valid, then that really eliminates any opportunity for people to become manipulative. Because one of the ways that manipulation can kind of get its hooks in is if you are not honoring your feelings, if you're not paying attention to that. It doesn't mean that you can be disrespectful and a tyrant. That's not what honoring your feelings is. It's just about knowing that the truth of what you're experiencing is valid. Your experience is valid. And so by honoring your feelings, it's kind of like, it makes it a lot harder for people to penetrate that and to cross your boundaries. And so let this be on your side in 2019. And then the animal card we have is horse. I'm getting that 2019 is going to be really liberating, because this, to me, you know, there's no saddle on this horse. It's kind of like that freeing, expansive, moving into uncharted territory. I think there's a lot of goodness that's sitting just outside of where you are right now. And so 2019 is going to be a big year, just because there's like a lot of movement in this card, a lot of flow. And so it's, it just looks like the opportunities are going to be really abundant. And then we have subdue. Pay attention to what you can do less of. Are you overdoing something? Are you overcommitting? Are you overextending yourself? Like, where can you kind of cool things down in 2019? And it's going to be better to focus on what you can eliminate than what you can add. And the angel card for you is synthesis. There are ways to integrate whatever you're confused about or whatever you are uncertain of. Remember that there are infinite solutions and infinite possibilities. And so while there might be some things that you want to dial back on, there's also a lot that you can integrate and weave into what you already have working. So notice the things that are working and continue with that. The central energy for you in 2019 is the Seven of Wands. So it's kind of like you're rising above all the challenges that you faced, seeking, you know, new territory, new adventures. And it looks like there's new people that are coming up as well. Because this right here looks to me like it's new people that are kind of on your side, new supporters, new people that are kind of joining you and being integrated into your life. So I think you have a lot of that surrounding you. And this is going to be when you challenge the status quo, when you really push against all of your patterns and kind of, you know, find yourself leaving a lot of the negativity behind, leaving a lot of the toxicity in the past or traumas in the past, and then moving forward into a new beginning where you really realize your own power. And now this reading is a mind, body, spirit reading. So I'm going to get started with mind. We have the Empress, divine feminine coming in strong. So this is all about receiving, focusing on flow more than force is going to be very helpful from a cerebral and conceptual perspective. The way that you can problem solve in 2019 is going to come from collaboration. That is that's one of the pillars of divine feminine, is collaboration, including people in your process. And so the Empress just looks like, you know, you have that working for you this year. So focus on flow, focus on ease, focus on collaboration, integration, and kind of involving people. And that's going to be how you really navigate this year easiest. Because it's like you can make this really hard on yourself. You can isolate, you can withdraw, you can not ask for help, you cannot involve people, but just remember that it's going to make it a lot harder. So you're in the driver's seat. You get to decide how you approach this. Now, this is your physical well-being, your body. Three of Pentacles. Take good care of yourself. This is about, and I like the reference to, you know, we have an old man hanging out over here, and it's kind of like the consistency and the diligence when it comes to health has immense payoff. So you're not just thinking about what can I do for my body now for immediate results. It's what can you do for your body and your physical well-being for the long haul. Like, what do you need to implement now? What do you need to work on now? Is it cleaning something up in your space? Is it, you know, cleaning out unhealthy relationships or draining relationships? That can also be something that you need to work on, and focus more on what is being given to you. This is all about effort. So you have to build it. You have to construct it. You have to be the one to say, okay, this is what this is what I'm working towards, and this is how I'm going to be consistent with it. And then we have Spirit. So what's going on for you spiritually? We have Ten of Swords, release. I'm going to clarify this, don't worry. And it's really nice that this card is popping up in the spiritual position, because I think there's a lot of belief systems on a spiritual or subconscious level that are going to be leaving. And so this is going to open up so much for you. It's creating so much space. Let's see. Temperance. There you go. So it's kind of like the way out is through. Don't forget that the Ten of Swords is really necessary. We can't go through life without experiencing the Ten of Swords at one point or another. But the Ten of Swords is kind of what clears things out for you to rebuild. It's similar to the Tower in that sense, is that you have to experience the release. You have to open up the space in order to attract and cultivate what you desire and what you want to see more of. So the Ten of Swords is just reflecting that by releasing those limiting beliefs, those old patterns, all those subconscious things that are hanging out and it could be manifesting spiritually or passively without you recognizing it, you have to allow them to die in order to find balance, in order to find equilibrium within your spiritual practice and what you're cultivating for yourself. Now we are getting into advice for you in 2019. Ace of Pentacles, make the offer. Propose the idea. Make the suggestion. The Ace of Pentacles wants you to initiate. It's kind of communicating, all right, push yourself. Like, yes, put yourself out there. Make it happen. Like, if there's something that is good that's sitting in your space, you know, take action on it. This is like a huge nudge, like, hello, go, you gotta give it some effort. You have to try, you have to extend your hand. And it's nice having these two together because the Empress is all about flow and making it easy. And then this is saying, but you need to, it's like that extra nudge when it comes to your actions. So don't forget that this is, you know what, I actually want to clarify this because I feel like there's more information here with the Ace of Pentacles. The Tower. Okay. So this looks like a fear picture that's popping up. I think that you might be having a little bit of reservation around making the attempt because you're afraid of getting rejected, it not working out, it being worse than you expect. Whatever blanks you're trying to fill in, the Tower is kind of saying, okay, look, that's a fear that's coming up. It doesn't mean you shouldn't make the attempt, because this is how you heal, this is how you grow, this is how you experience transformation. And if you don't make the attempt, then you never get to see things through. You never get to really experience the full potential of your life. It's like you can always hold yourself back, and this is not the year to do that. Don't let fear override what you want. Don't let it override all of the good things that you could have show up this year. It's just something that you have to challenge and resist in order to have that breakthrough that you're wanting. And this is what you need to know about 2019. We have the Emperor. So know that this is kind of like the you got it card. So we have the Emperor and the Empress making an appearance in this reading. Really nice masculine, feminine balance. But this is also about like staying true to yourself, not dissolving or losing yourself in anything in 2019 is going to be really important. Make sure that you are feeling into alignment with yourself and communicating that. Communicate what's important to you. Communicate your feelings. This isn't a time to hold back. Like, that's a big, big message in this reading. Do not hold back in 2019. Don't do it. Focus on flow. Focus on ease. But you have to try. You have to take the first step. You have to get uncomfortable. You have to do all those things in order to see things through and really experience the world in a way that you may have never experienced it before. Now we're going to get into the timeline. So first, second, third, and fourth quarter. And if you don't know what that means, it means 3 months. So this will be January to March of 2019. We have the Eight of Cups. Okay, awesome. So this is where you're like, oh, I think I'm seeing things differently. I think I'm changing the way I'm doing things. So the beginning of the year is when I think you're probably going to experience the most conscious shift, the most intention around doing things differently. And recognizing that there is a great deal of perception changes. It's not just, this isn't coming from circumstances as much as it is an internal shift where it's like the aha, the okay, I've figured it out. I understand this a little bit more. I understand this a little bit deeper. So the Eight of Cups is really nice to see showing up in this position, just because it's kind of like you start off 2019 with a fresh mindset, a fresh perspective. And this is going to help you do things differently. That's kind of what this is, or the catalyst for in the beginning of the year. And then the second quarter, we have the Magician. So this is what you're creating, what you're building and constructing. This is what you're actively manifesting, what you're actively calling into your space. Don't forget, you have a lot of power here. This isn't something that you just want to overlook. Get specific. Don't forget the power of that. If there's something that you want and need, you're calling it in. You're not just wanting it. You're not just hoping for it. You're creating it. So try to take a little bit more authority over what it is that you're creating, because you're the master of your reality. I mean, it's a blend of so many different things. It's like, what are you doing spiritually? What are you doing physically? What are your actions communicating? What's the language that you're using? Pay attention to the words that you speak, what you say to yourself, and the actions that you're taking, because that's going to dictate what manifests. And now, third quarter, we have the Four of Swords. It's okay to rest. It's okay to, you know, take a break from certain things. It's okay to take your time and let things calm down. It's completely okay for you to take breaks. So I would just recommend that you rest. Rest. That's going to be super important to keep things all in balance, especially if you have a lot going on. In this third quarter, it's like, just take a breather. That's always an option. So it just looks like you're in a little bit more need here of taking a breath. And then where you end up at the end of 2019, we have the Eight of Swords. I'm going to clarify this, because it's kind of interesting. I have like one side of this that it's communicating, but let me see what the other side is. Okay, Nine of Cups. Okay, this is awesome. Now it makes sense. Here's the deal with this. The Eight of Swords is kind of like reminding you, I don't know, what do you want? I don't know what's going to happen, because it's all dependent on whether or not you're taking action, what words you're saying to yourself, what you're communicating on a regular basis. Remember, the story that you have on autopilot completely wipes out any room for there to be a better story, a better outcome. And one of my favorite books said, like, from the perspective of God, I'll show you a better story when you stop telling me yours. And that's what this is saying. Like, stop assuming the worst and focus, because this is the wish card. This is the dreams being fulfilled. And it's like, you have that potential. But if the entire year you're not taking positive action, you're holding yourself back, you're limiting yourself, you're filling your mind with negative talk, and then what can you possibly expect? Like, because you're not setting yourself up to expect a miracle. You're setting yourself up to expect a tragedy. And so that's why the Eight of Swords is coming up, because it's like, are you binding yourself to the story that you have on repeat or on autopilot? And the Nine of Cups is like, hey, buddy, pay attention, make a wish, you know, demand good things. Stop requesting good things, demand good things, create good things. Speak as if good things are going to happen with such conviction that there's not an option for anything else. That's always a good strategy. So just consider it. But hey, do whatever you want. You don't have to listen to me. Look, I'm just some tarot reader online, okay? But, you know, it's your life. So now we're going to do a 3-card pick. And you can ask a question. You can request guidance. You can do whatever you want. Pick as few or as many cards as you'd like. And card number 1. Family. Okay. Really giving time and attention to the people that care about you is going to help you feel supported in 2019. I also see this as being like an increase in family dynamics. Remember, this isn't just blood relatives. I know that some people get tripped up on the word family. It has nothing to do with blood relatives. This can be whatever it is that you want it to be. And so I would actually zoom out a little bit and say that this has more to do with deep soulmate connections and relationships are going to be important. I also see this as being like more of those relationships that you already have becoming more in-depth, more serious, more intense. And then card number 2, pleasure and pain. Okay, so this is interesting. Watch yourself when it comes to old behaviors and old patterns that you find comfortable but are actually a detriment to you. That is something that will blow up later. And then on the flip side of that, there are certain things that are really healing that are also really painful, but that's how you get to the other side, is by walking through the fire. So I don't know which side you're on, but there are some things where it's like, if you're experiencing pain, stop. And then there's other things where it's like, if you're experiencing pain, keep going. So you kind of have to ask yourself that question. Is it healthy or is it not? That's ultimately what's going to make or break this. And then card number 3, expectation. Watch yourself on expectations. Be careful. It'll bite you. You know, that's kind of what this snake here is communicating. So just watch yourself on that. Really, don't lower them. Be realistic with them. You can have standards. I think that standards and expectations are different, and who you're giving expectations to or who you have expectations for, there's so much nuance to this. So it's kind of like, again, if you're expecting the worst, it's going to bite you. If you're expecting things to go exactly picture perfect, exactly as you imagine it in every way, shape, or form, that might also bite you as well. So leave enough room for things to go well without drowning it in a negative expectation. All right, my friends, thank you so much, Libra, for joining me today. I hope you have found this reading helpful to you. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, following me on Facebook and Instagram. Don't forget, if you want to work with me one-on-one, all of the links are in the description box. 2019 love and romance readings are out now. You're welcome to check all of that out. And if you want a video reading with all the bells and whistles, that is also available to you. So make sure you just spend some time in the handy dandy description box. All of the cards that I've used today are listed there as well. And until next time, have a beautiful 2019. I wish you nothing but the best, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.